Welcome to the Backlash at Backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mecklin, and in this video I'm going to read from my 2003 article, Dads, Cads, and Tom Leykis. The full article is linked below. I've been living now for a week in a hotel room while work is being done at my apartment. Stopped by today to pick up my mail, and they said another 2 days, maybe 3 or 4. Couldn't happen too soon. I'm eager to get back to my place. Nice hotel, but not used to sitting on a wobbly little chair that's not very stable, and tiny little desk with my laptop. But for you guys, I labor on. So, continuing, 2003, Olympia, Washington. In several of his books, Warren Farrell has dealt with the issue of cads versus dads. Women love to screw around with the cads and marry the dads. The female equivalent of the Madonna whore double standard. It's not some leering feminist turnabout as fair play gambit. No, it's always been this way. Just as a lot of men want to party with the bad girls but marry a good girl, so a lot of women want to be treated like tramps by the bad boys but marry some nice guy for hearth, home, and a baby or few, not much else. A new study just out from Catherine McKinnon's Fortress of Feminist Fragility, the University of Michigan, confirms this. Quote, for long-term relationships, women like dads, men who are kind, compassionate, and monogamous. But for short-term relationships, women prefer cads, the classic romantic dark heroes who are dominant, promiscuous, and daring. That's according to a new University of Michigan study appearing in the current issue of the journal Human Nature, close quote. Diane Swanbrow, University Record, October 27, 2003. The researchers found that about 60% of women will tumble for the cad but hitch their wagon to the dad, which explains the almost 60% divorce rate. These women who get wet and weak-kneed for jerks know cads generally make poor mates and providers, so they settle for men whom they find safe, secure, and boring. Me, I don't get it. My ideal gal finds as much humor as I do in the silly social rituals in which normal people engage. She's intelligent, inquisitive, industrious, affectionate, unabashedly adventurous in bed, and honest and healthy, which means she's not some half-starved waif sweating over a few pounds. No, she's not a BBW either. She's athletic. She enjoys being a woman, and she likes men. Yes, such women do exist. Not many, but I do know a few. They don't stay single for long. Men love women like that, and women hate them. Note, yes, I was referring to Nawalt, but statistically, there are outliers in every group. The problem for men is that we all want them, and as others have joked, they're more rare than a unicorn. So what's a guy to do? MGTOW, of course. Continuing. This is one reason why, after decades of cultivating the futile hope that society could evolve, I've come to agree with Tom Leykis. This coming to Jesus had less to do with anything that Tom has said than what women have said. To put this into some perspective, let me explain that I'm a South Seattle kid. Yes, Seattle, at one time the epicenter of the Marlboro smoking, whiskey drinking, fat whiny single mother movement. A few years ago, I gave up on Seattle. Remember, this was 2003 that I wrote it. It's 2015 today. I moved to Olympia, the capital of Washington State. Lots of family here in Olympia, a lot of family history. Against all reason, I hoped that here maybe I could find my kind of gal. But what I found in Olympia wasn't up to the job, for it is a microcosm of what dominates Seattle. A few really swell gals and a lot of losers who, if the national trend is any indication, will marry once or twice, end up divorced, and spend most of their life as single moms who work, whine, smoke, and complain to one another during the week, and troll for cads at the local bars every Friday night. Right about now, you're probably thinking, geez, you're really angry and bitter. Actually, surrendering to the reality is a relief. I give up. I'm not going to fight it anymore. Most women aren't worth taking home to meet the family. So be it. Think Christian Slater leaning back after being busted, sort of, by the FCC in Pump Up the Volume. Great movie, by the way. Telling his listeners, so be it. Like Slater's character, I've got a sly smirk on my face, too. The reason has to do with timing. I don't believe Tom disrespects women. I don't. I know he doesn't dislike them. I don't either. But like James Coburn's character Derek Flint in Our Man Flint and in Like Flint, two movies, by the way, that preceded Mike Myers movies about Austin Powers by, 30, 40 years, and actually, they're better. Parody about James Bond. Anyway, like Flint, he understands women. He doesn't try to compete with them. They are what they are, and who are we as men to try to change them? True, most women spend a lot of their time trying to change us men, but that's just part of who they are. We can fight it, try to change them in return, but they don't like it. It doesn't do us any good, so why bother? Is it really worth the effort? What would we get out of it anyway? Tom tells his listeners how to get laid a lot, and I'm not really that kind of a guy. But as my fortune improves and women begin to pay more attention, maybe I'll change my mind about that. Hard to tell. For the time being, however, it's all good. It's all part of living and learning, and with any luck, loving and being loved in return. 2015, Olympia, Washington. Shortly after I wrote that article, I had a girlfriend. She was interesting, but ultimately, like most women, so we broke up. For several years thereafter, my focus was on my tribe, and to some extent, still is. But MGTOW, who think that mainstream gynocentrism is bad, don't know how bad it can be. I'll have a story to tell about that later. Suffice it to say for now that, like suburban racial ghettos, most Indian reservations exemplify what becomes of a community that is dominated by gynocentrism, and what could become a mainstream society if things don't change. Today, my focus is on getting rich and writing out the economic, political, and social upheaval that is to come. I'm happier this way. That's all for now. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mecklin.